think I want to be confident. I'm just always lonely and I want to be confident to make friends and be happy. I asked a question on my TikTok. I actually have to wait 10 seconds to go onto my TikTok because I have an app downloaded that makes you take a breath for 10 seconds before it allows you to open any social media apps. Hold the phone for a second. How are you? How are things? 3 days until my trip to Las Vegas, so I'm very excited about that. So I had an epiphany last night at 3 a.m. when all good epiphanies happen. And it was basically that I want this podcast to almost create the feeling of a women's circle. And if you've never been to a women's circle before, you absolutely should. It is just the most spectacular experience. And what I love about women's circles is it's not like a lecture or a TED talk where one person is kind of speaking and giving you information. It's almost like a co-created space. So sometimes there's a topic or a theme, and then they kind of start talking about it. Maybe they'll do a little guided meditation, or they'll do something guided, or they'll talk about something for a little bit. And then it kind of becomes collaborative. So some people will ask questions, some people will share stories, some people will give advice, some people will ask for advice. And it almost becomes this like co-created space where there's no one leader or expert. It's just like a group of women coming together, supporting each other, being there for each other. And so it made me think I want to start asking the We're All Like Other Girls audience and start cultivating this environment where we can all kind of ask questions, but also answer questions and help each other. And so I did this on TikTok today. I have a question for you. If you could have one problem solved in your life right now, what problem would you want solved? Somebody's commented saying, I think I want to be confident. And so my inner therapist came out and I thought, okay, so what is the want behind that? Because all of the time, I was going to say most of the time, but I would say all of the time, we don't want the thing. We want the thing that we think the thing will bring us.
My mind has been blown.
So it's like, okay, you want to be confident, but why? And so I asked, how would that change your life? Love heart. And this person said, I'm just always lonely and I want to be confident to make friends and be happy. And I thought, okay, let's talk about this. Let's just sit and jam on this for a second. This is your invitation now. If something you hear comes up for you and you think, oh, I can help this girl. Like this girl feels lonely and is not happy and wants friends, and you've been there and you have advice, please share. If you were across from me right now and you said this to me, the first thing that would come up for me is that those three things are all enormous entities. So you've got, I want to be confident, I want to be happy, and I'm lonely / I want to make friends. I think it's easy to like bulk them all in together. Like I don't have friends and I'm not happy and I'm lonely and I'm not confident. And I don't think all of them are necessarily intertwined. For example, what I first thought was, you don't necessarily need to be confident to make friends. Okay, like there are very shy people who you would deem as not confident that have lots of amazing friends. I think maybe we say like, oh, I'm not confident. If I was confident, I would be able to do X, Y, Z, almost as a barrier. And we almost think of this like confidence as a future state of being, that once we achieve it and once we get too confident, once I'm a confident person, X, Y, Z will happen. Well, two things are coming up for me as I say that. The first thing is confidence is created through, like, what is the definition of confidence? Okay, let's look this up. Confidence. Definition. Okay, the definition of confidence is the feeling or belief that one can have faith in or rely on someone or something. And so if we're talking about self-confidence, it is the belief and self-assurance that we can rely on ourselves. So you can't just pluck that out of your arsehole. Like you can't just all of a sudden wake up and think, oh yeah, I can rely on myself. Like the way that you create a level of confidence and self-reliance and trust within yourself is by doing it over and over again and proving to yourself that, okay, I can rely on myself. Self-esteem isn't something you have, it's something you build through esteemable actions. You're not all of a sudden just going to be a confident person. The way that you build confidence is doing things and taking actions, keeping promises to yourself, doing things that kind of allow you to validate that you can be there for yourself, that no matter what situation you put yourself in, you can trust yourself. And over time, those actions that you take to kind of say like, okay, I can show up for myself, no matter what situation I get myself in, I know I can handle it, like I will be safe, I will be fine. That's how you build this like level of confidence, right? That's on confidence in and of itself. So the second part, long story long, the second thing that comes up for me for this is you don't necessarily need that level of confidence to make friends. You don't make friends based on who is the most confident person in the room, and you don't like look around and think, okay, she's the most confident person in the room, I want to make friends with her. You make friends based on shared values, shared interests, the way you love each other, whether your love languages align, the way that you can support each other and be there for each other, the joy that you experience together. And you don't necessarily need to be a confident person in order to have that. I get told I'm a confident person all of the time, especially because I go to a lot of things on my own. Middle of this week, I told you I'm flying to Vegas. I'm going to a 3-day festival on my own. I don't know anybody there. When I tell people this, I always get, because this is not the first time I've done stuff like this, I always get like, you're very confident, you're very outgoing. But if you asked me to describe my personality, and if you asked me like, name traits about yourself, confidence would actually not be one of them. And I actually, when people ask me to describe myself, I often describe myself as quite shy and quite introverted. I used to cry walking into assembly because I felt like when I walked through the assembly doors, everyone who was already in the assembly hall was looking at me, and they were all going to look at me. I don't know what I thought was bad was going to happen when they were looking at me, but the idea of having people looking at me and paying me attention was just crippling to me. So I used to cry going into assembly. That is not the mark of a confident person. But what I have done is at 18 or 19, at 19, I went traveling on my own. And ever since then, I have just done small things that have kind of proved to myself and validated to myself over and over again that I can trust myself, that I can meet new people, that even if a situation is awkward or uncomfortable or I'm scared or I don't know what I'm doing, I've built this level of trust within myself, so I know that I can handle it. So even now, I'm like, fucking hell, am I really going to go to a festival in Las Vegas on my own? Even though I am nervous about it and I do feel like, fucking hell, what am I doing? I know that I've felt like this before. I've done things like this before. I've put myself in these situations before, and I know I'll be fine. So that gives me a sense of self-assuredness. I think it can be harmful to our ability to make progress when we say things like, I'm not confident enough to make friends. You don't have to be confident to make friends. You just have to be willing and honest enough to be like, I want to make friends. And that's another thing as well. Let's finish that thought. You have to put yourself in situations, even if you don't feel confident, with the knowledge that is how you build confidence. Where I was going before that, let's talk about friendship. I think something that can really hold us back from making friends and like putting ourselves out there for making friends, or this is what holds me back a lot of the time, is everyone has their own friends already. Like, I'm 27. Everyone already has their own girlfriends. You look on Instagram, everyone's already got their girl groups. Nobody needs more friends. If I go to an event, everyone's going to be with other people already. If I go to a hostel, everyone kind of already knows each other. There's all these beliefs we tell ourselves about friendship. So why then is every other YouTube video about loneliness and making friends as an adult, making friends in your 20s? Why are there so many videos and people talking about loneliness? We're literally in an epidemic of loneliness. It's literally like the loneliness economy. Everything we do, I don't want to be like a fucking boomer, like talking about how the internet is ruining relationships, but the more time we spend online, we create this kind of pseudo intimacy and these like pseudo relationships with people online, which is fine, but then we put less importance on the relationships that we have in real life. And so we have less and less friends in real life. Then we become more and more lonely. And so as an antidote to that, we go more online, and it's this kind of endless cycle that it's just a self-fulfilling prophecy. You know, the more time we spend online, the lonelier we feel. The lonelier we feel, the more time we spend online. Not saying don't spend time online. That would absolutely never be me. Like, I like being online. My career is online. I'm doing this online. Everything good is happening for me because of the online. I am pro online. Thank you, internet builders. Who made the internet? I don't know. It's easy to complain about being lonely, and it feels nice and cathartic to say, I'm not confident enough to make friends. I don't have any friends. I'm lonely. Where is the proof in your life that you actually want the things you're saying that you want? So if you want to make more friends, if you want to feel confident enough to make friends, if you want to have a girl group, where is the proof in your life that you actually want that? Like, what are you actually doing to show up for the things that you say that you want? And in this case, what are you doing to show up for the desire to make friends? Like, it's easy to sit behind your computer. This sounds like I'm like calling out the girl who said this. This is absolutely not the truth. This is almost like a call out myself, because my ex-boyfriend once said this to me. If you're saying that you want friends, but if you're keeping your routine, your daily routine exactly the same every single day, you see the same people, you do exactly the same things, you go to work, you come home, you're doing exactly the same things, how do you expect to meet new people and find new friends? And that's why we go to the internet. But the internet does create these like pseudo relationships because they're not real. Well, okay, that's not fair. They are real. And I have made great friends through the internet that are now like in real life friends. But when you're saying you're lonely, it's because you want in real life friends, people that are like your ride or die people that you can go to when you're having a problem, people that you can hang out with, have fun with, live your life with, grow up with. So where is the proof that you want that? You know, like, show up for your life. Like, you can't win if you're not at the table rolling the dice. No, let me get out of my quote book. Insanity is doing the same things over and over and expecting the same results. And so if you want friends and you want new friends but your current routine and reality is not kind of allowing that for you, what can you do to put yourself in a situation where maybe you can meet new people? Start thinking about the things that you would like in friends, things that you want to do with your friends. Like, do you want friends to go partying with? Do you want friends to go on hikes with? Do you want friends to travel with? Think about the things that you want friends and what kind of role you want your friends to show up for or as in your life, and then think, okay, if that's what I want from my friends, where can I meet those people? And just know that like everyone wants good girlfriends. Like, don't trick yourself into thinking that everyone already has their girlfriend and nobody is interested in having friends. Like, everyone wants new friends, even if someone has an amazing girlfriends group already. I have several amazing friends, but if I meet someone and we click, I'm like, okay, bring you into my sphere. You know? Okay, I don't want to ramble on too much, so I think I'm going to leave this there, but let's leave you with a last question. And this is more of an exercise that you can do now. And this is just like a very actionable thing that could maybe help you start towards kind of that growing level of confidence, growing level of friendships, happiness, etc. And I've talked about this exercise before, and it's called the next level exercise. So what you can do is grab a bit of paper and write down these areas of your life, like write down friendship, happiness, connectedness. Then I want you to rank out of 10 where you feel like you're at in your current life right now. So where do you feel like your friendships are at right now out of 10? Like, how do they feel for you right now? Maybe they feel like a 3 out of 10. So then I want you to think about what the next level of that would look like. So if your current friendships feel like a 3 out of 10 in your life, what would a 4 out of 10 look like? Maybe you would have another friend who likes doing a certain type of thing with you. Maybe you would see your current friends more. Whatever that would be, like, what does a level 4 friendship look like? Or what does the next level of friendship look like for you? And then ask yourself, how can I move 1% closer to that in the next hour? What can I do in the next hour to move myself closer to that? And then just do that. All of this personal development stuff is great, and hearing all of this stuff about loneliness and friendship and mindset and how we have to show up for the things that we say that we want. But all of that can only go so far if we don't actually do it. And I do get it. Like, I am so much I am so much a perpetrator of this, complaining about things and saying, I don't like this, I'm not happy about this in my life could be better. And it feels very cathartic to kind of share it online. But then when I think, okay, what am I actually doing to change this? It's actually not very much. And so what can you do in the next hour? Maybe you schedule a call with a friend that you haven't spoken to for a while. Maybe you could send a message to someone that you used to get on with but you've lost touch with. Maybe you could sign up to a club or an activity that you think you might meet some people and you know that there would be like-minded people there. And this can be done for any area of your life, not just friendships. It could be happiness, health, whatever. Yeah, if you have any advice or tips for anyone who feels lonely and like they just want to have friendships and be happy, leave it in the comments. Like I said, send me a message. I want to share this. I want this to literally be the dreamy women's circle that we all want. I want it to be the antidote to the loneliness economy. I want this to be a women's circle. If I could get us all together and just sit down with this microphone and have this like round table and we could just all talk to each other about this topic and then I could upload it, that would be the podcast. But unfortunately, until I can facilitate that, this is what we've got. So next episode, I will probably be in the USA, potentially Vegas, potentially somewhere else, depending on when I can get podcasts in. But I'm excited to do this as I travel and document the experiences there. So I'll see you somewhere in the US very soon. Love you loads. See you then.